Hi, I'm Dr. Jeremy Moretti, Senior Scientist of Neuropsychology and Behavioral Research. I am also the father of two wonderful young boys. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey about EQ. I will also share some personal stories about my boys and their EQ development. Now, what do you think EQ is? Is it applied information to skills? Is it analytical thinking? Is it mental processing? Or logical reasoning? It's none of those. I'm here to tell you that EQ stands for emotional intelligence. What I just described to you was IQ. We all know what IQ is. We can think of EQ as the ability to recognize, evaluate, and regulate your emotions. This is important on so many levels, but extremely important during the early years of life. For example, the relationship between parent and family and child is extremely important because the closeness of parent-child connection throughout life results from how much parents connect with their baby right from the beginning. So why is EQ so important? It's actually more important than even IQ. I'm going to share with you 6 ways in which this is so important in your life. Number 1, your physical health. It helps you manage your stress. Number 2, your mental well-being. It affects our attitude and outlook on life. It also helps to prevent and avoid depression. Number 3, relationships. Having the ability to be able to communicate our feelings. Number 4, conflict resolution. Better to negotiate situations and problem solve. And number 5, success. Helps us to be stronger internal motivators, intrinsic motivation. And it also increases our self-confidence and self-esteem. And finally, number 6, leadership. Understanding what motivates others to be a leader. Earlier, I mentioned early experiences and how crucial they are. Now, we know from research that through warmth and comfort in parenting can lead to a cooperative child who is well developed socially, emotionally, and physically, as well as intellectually. So, a positive family and parent-child relationship built on trust, understanding, and caring will foster children's cooperation and motivation, and may also increase their positive outcomes in school or academic success. This is the recipe for high levels of EQ. So how does all of this play a role in our behavior? Well, EQ is made up of our emotions, and it's these emotions that impact someone's behavior. Emotions are actually the internal architects, conductors, or organizers, if you will, of our minds. They tell us what to think, they tell us what to say, and even how to say it, and what to do. We gain knowledge through our emotional interactions and then apply that knowledge to the cognitive world. So, in essence, we react based on how we feel. For example, think about your own emotions and how you feel after you've experienced fear or surprise or even anger or happiness. But having a high EQ, we're able to regulate our emotions more effectively. Now, along with emotions comes temperament. Understanding your child or someone else's temperament can help you communicate more effectively with them and raise your own EQ. Now, I'm sure many of you have specific questions. Well, after many years of living in China myself, I had parents always asking me 3 questions about their children. The first one was, how do I make my 2-year-old stop saying no? The second question was, my child hits others. How do I get them to stop hitting? And the third question that I always received, is it necessary to set rules for my children? When to do it and how? Yes, there are ways to solve this. First of all, we need to look at the reason this behavior is occurring, the why. The second thing we need to look at is the behavior itself. Does it comply with their request? is it unsafe to themselves? And third is the solution. How do we want to consequent the behavior? Do we offer choices or a reward system? It's important that we praise good behavior. It's also important to encourage empathy. So for those of you who enjoy science, I'll begin to describe where in the brain this emotional intelligence or EQ takes place. I mention this because the first two elements of EQ have to do with mastery. The first is self-awareness, what I'm feeling and why. And the second is managing those emotions. Now, I've just touched on some points. However, if you'd like to invite me to one of your speaking engagements, please visit my website at internationalcreativeconsulting.com and schedule now.